Okay, so let's get into the material you brought us today. We're doing a deep dive on this really interesting origin story, character called FrostCircuit.
That's the one. Yeah, our mission here, looking at these sources, is basically to track the journey of this, well, brilliant young woman who's all about tech and figure out how one lab accident, just one event, turned her into this unique kind of hero.
A hero who uses ice powers to fight, like digital and real-world threats.
Exactly. It blurs that line.
Hmm.
And the sources really focus on that transformation, the powers mixing tech and cold. It's quite a setup.
It really is. So where does the story actually kick off?
It begins in Seoul. The main character is Min-Jae, and the sources paint her as, super gifted with technology, coding, maybe more comfortable with machines than people sometimes.
Okay, relatable for some tech folks, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there's the big moment, right? The accident. The source mentions her lab testing something.
Yeah, exactly. An underground lab, winter evening. She's working on this cutting-edge prototype. The sources call it a cryo-chip.
Right, yeah.
And, well, during the test run, something goes wrong. A big overload. Unexpected. And it's not just that it breaks. The sources say it actually fuses into her nervous system.
Fuses. Wow. Like physically becomes part of her.
That's how it's described. And the immediate result sounds pretty dramatic. An explosion, this cloud of blue mist. And her veins, get this, they apparently glow faintly, like neon, right before she passes out.
Okay, that is quite the visual. So what happens when she comes to?
Well, she wakes up, and the whole room is just covered in frost. Everything.
A clue that something's definitely changed.
A big one. And that's when she starts figuring things out, discovering she can, precisely control temperature, generate freezing cold just by touching things.
The source material has this really cool concept for it, right? It's not just ice powers. It's
programmable ice. That's the term they use. Her body's become a conduit for it.
programmable ice. So it's controlled, structured, almost like her coding background influences the power itself.
That's the idea. It's ice power, but viewed through this, tech lens, which makes total sense for her background.
And that's where the name comes from, FrostCircuit. It fits perfectly.
It really does. It reflects that fusion. And she doesn't just, sit back with these new powers.
No, the sources say she gets proactive, designs her own gear, techwear.
Yep, custom techwear to help manage and enhance the abilities. And she trains a lot.
Yeah.
Stealth, speed, getting that cryo-control down pat. She's really stepping into the role.
Building herself into this hero figure.
Right, and just in time, too, because then this major threat hits Seoul. Cyber terrorists. They unleash something the sources call a frozen data storm.
A frozen data storm. Okay, what does that mean exactly, according to the source?
Well, it's described as a massive cyber attack, right?
Right.
But it has physical effects. It actually freezes electronics across the city, freezes infrastructure.
Freezes it, like actual cold locks up the tech, not just shuts it down.
Yeah, it seems like it. Digital chaos causing physical freezing and paralysis. It's a really nasty blended threat.
That's terrifyingly creative. And FrostCircuit's the only one who can deal with it.
According to the material, yes. She's apparently the only person capable of interfacing with the corrupted weather net that's driving this storm.
So she has to step up. The sources describe her out there navigating this frozen city.
All right, fighting on two fronts, physically dealing with these, augmented bad guys the sources mention, and at the same time trying to digitally thaw out all the chaos in the network.
That leads to the big finale, I assume, the climax.
Absolutely. The sources detail this final showdown. It happens under this huge collapsing dome made of ice, created by the main villain, Ice Demon.
Ice Demon. Okay. And there's a key moment for FrostCircuit here. Something about her heart.
Yeah, the source describes her heart kind of syncing up with her internal cryo-circuitry, like a moment of perfect harmony between her body and the tech fused within her.
And that connection lets her do something big.
It lets her unleash what the source calls a radiant frost wave. It's described almost like a pulse or a cleanse.
A cleanse. So it fixes things.
Yeah, it sweeps through the city, reboots the core systems, shatters all that digital ice, and takes down Ice Demon, locks him in some kind of cryostasis prison, the source says. Seoul is saved.
Wow. So from a lab accident with a cryo-chip to saving the entire city with a radiant frost wave, that's quite a journey outlined in these sources.
It really is a complete arc. And it brings us back to that final idea mentioned in your material.
Right. The source leaves us with, the cold became her signal, not her silence.
The powerful line. Makes you think, you know.
It really does. What does it mean for you, listening right now, when the very thing that could have frozen you could have silenced you? What if that becomes your loudest signal, your greatest strength, something to ponder?